Okay, and so we are on our final debate for the Finance and University Governance Commissioner position, which we have 5 candidates. So would you please introduce yourselves within 30 seconds?
Hi, I'm Nikita. I'm running for the GSU. And I've been on the GSU exec for a while. This is my 3rd time running. And this time as the role of University and Finance and University Governance Commissioner. And that's my introduction.
Thank you. And
hi, my name is Jeffrey Andrus, and I'm a master's student in planning in the Department of Geography and Planning. I've never been part of the GSU before, but I went to a council meeting, the last council meeting that they had, and it kind of inspired me to get involved. And one of the things that I see lacking right now in the GSU is a lack of communication and outreach to our members. I didn't even know what the GSU did, or that it really even existed, until I went to the meeting. So as running for the position, I would like to see one of the things done is our communications budget increase, and I would also like to see more lobbying on our behalf with our students.
And I'm Clare Albert. I am a first-year student at the Monk School of Global Affairs, so brand new program. And I've had 5 years experience working for large organizations, including International NGO called Orbis, as well as for the Canadian government, for the University of Ottawa prior. So that's what I bring in terms of administrative experience, as well as being involved in student politics for about 4 or 5 years now. I was involved with an organization called Students for Campus Accountability. So I really want to bring the experiences that I had in that organization to this. As well, I am running on a platform of accountability, transparency, fiscal responsibility. So hopefully that will come out more in the discussion.
My name is Saber. I'm in ECE. I was involved in CUPE 3902, some negotiations, so that's why I wanted to get involved in the GSU. I'm basically looking for more openness, transparency, as Jeffrey said, in the GSU union. And my previous experience was with the IEEE and the undergrad and the master's program as a treasurer, sales director, and social director. So that's what I do.
Hi, Walter Callahan, coming from the Department of Anthropology. As far as experience with the university goes, I've been here since 1995 in one capacity or another, just recently starting as a graduate student, so this is a little bit different. From that experience, though, I've seen the GSU Council go up and down. I've seen its ability to work with the different administrations, go up and down, decline and improve, and I've seen some problematic signs right now, which is why I decided to throw my hat into this race and really run for a fight for integrity and accountability on the part of not just the GSU, but of the university governance administrative bodies as well.
thank you. Okay, so Finance and University Governance Commissioner, we're going to be having 2 main topics which we'll have some questions about. So the first one is kind of the relationship between the GSU and, of course, extending to all the graduate students and their relationship with the administration. I am CUPE 3902, of course, is very involved in this relationship as well, so I'm sure that that subject will be, of course, brought up. But let's try to focus on how the graduate students themselves interact with the administration and how you hope you can kind of improve those relationships. So we're going to start with Saber.
So I think what you have to understand is that just generally across all the departments, all the divisions, there is different funding issues, different, I know I come from engineering, everybody seems to at least be adequate. I know when I was looking at the CUPE 3902 budgeting committee, I saw a lot of different issues. So I was aware that there's many different issues, different departments face different issues. So I think first and foremost, we have to be engaged and realize which all the departments, what are their actual funding issues are, what the students are, concerned about, and for us to be a liaison between the university and GSU and the students through that. So my basic goal is to actually understand it. I wouldn't say I come here and understand it. I think I have a better idea from the bargaining committee, CUPE 3902 bargaining process that went on, but I still feel that I need to learn more and liaison that with the university.
And Jeffrey?
So I think that one of the problems that we have right now with the administration is currently we're just rubber stamping more or less everything that goes before the academic bodies. And I think that we need to solicit students' opinions a lot more. Like I said, we need to increase communication with our members. I don't even know if we have a list of our membership, but that if we don't, it's definitely a problem that I would like to lobby the administration for, so that we can actually solicit opinions and get the opinions of our members. One of the things that we could do is send out emails to people, have online surveys, like even just Survey Monkey, just ask this is what you want, so that we'd be getting the opinions of our members. And right now I know that a lot of students don't even want anything to do with the GSU. When I told people I was running with the GSU, they said fix it. That's what a lot of people said, because they were really frustrated with a lot of the infighting, and it actually turns people away. So running as a slate, I think that we are wanting to have a united team that we can put together a vision that we will work together, and that's what we're trying to do with Refresh GSU here.
Claire?
I think the major thing in trying to get people involved is trying to find issues that resonate with the student body. So two ways that you can do that is one, have a diversity of views, have a balance of views, especially where the campaigns and activities are concerned. We're very good at providing services to the student body, but we are not very good at uniting the student body around certain issues or certain campaigns that they actually support. And then the second thing is to talk about things that they care about. So what do you do for me? So getting the services, the essential services that we provide out to them, letting them know that they're there and that they can use them for free, as well as show them where that money is going, because the Graduate Student Union does do a lot of good work where the services are concerned. So there should be, press releases, reports, something that shows that we are sending the funding this way. This is for you guys. Please use it.
Walter?
Okay, well, in answering the question, one of the first things that I think has to actually be spelled out is what exactly is the relationship between the students in GSU and the university governance administrative body as a whole. And one of the things that, as I said, I've been here since '95, I still remember back when certain people over at Simcoe Hall referred to us as basic income units. I do not see this having changed at all, and I think this memory has to be made clear that the actual position that the university has towards us as students, what they personally, or not personally, but as a group, actually have this defined as in their own minds. This is very much going on, was evident during the QP 3902 fiasco that occurred, where the administration's perception really did affect how they turned around and gave us our tentative agreement. Now, as far as getting students to get more involved in this, this is also where I'm not an individual when I'm on the executive if I get elected. It is a team, so with some of the thoughts that were put forward by some of the previous candidates, especially for civics, of doing an outreach, trying to get the students to actually be aware that we're even here and gain our message out of what the university has treated us as will be very, very important. And I've already made it clear to a number of the candidates in our positions, I am very open to working with them, and I will hold to that.
And Nikita?
Well, so in terms of the relationship between graduate students and the university, essentially the university is guarded by the governing council, on which we have a number, actually 2 graduate student representatives, who actually I know and I have worked with before. And the University Governance Commissioner is the one that's supposed to actually act as a liaison between the graduate students and the governing council. So speak to RGC reps and speak to the administration in Simcoe Hall. So in terms of the relationship, of my personal relationship with Simcoe Hall administration, as in my capacity this year as academics commissioner, I have actually built working relationships with some of the senior administration, such as the Office of the Student Life, Vice Provost Students, Provost's Office. We had a meeting with President Naylor, and people are actually, probably contrary to some opinions, people are actually agreed to work with us, and they do treat us as their future colleagues, because we're actually graduate students. We're not undergrads, so we stand a bit higher than that, and people are more open to work with us. In terms of the communication of us with graduate students, well, this is one of the priorities of actually the internal commissioner, and that's running as a slate grad voice. We actually, I think that it's going to be a very good priority to work together with the internal commissioner to actually get the input from the graduate students and direct it to Simcoe Hall. And actually, as one of the one of the examples, Simca Hall's Office of the Student Life agreed that to give us better tools of communication, direct emailing to graduate students, and that happened a few months ago. So and this is something that me and the current University Affairs Commissioner negotiated just a few months ago. So that's a plus.
Okay, so on the subject of the relationship between the GSU and the administration, I'll open it up for, how about let's do 5 questions. First come, first serve.
Can I actually just get a point of information?
Yes, of course.
With the emailing the list, like we do have the list for our members now, is that correct?
No.
No.
If I understand correctly, we've been invited years ago, so it wasn't just this year with the current University Affairs, but even 2 years ago when I was academic commissioner, the School of Graduate Studies says that we can submit to kind of their digest, which is the eGrad School News, and they'd be happy to pass things along, but otherwise we actually have no access to our list. Now our health and dental office has fought really hard to get a list for those purposes, but she has to sign a bunch of confidentiality agreements, and so she has it for health and dental only, and we're not allowed to use it for email
So
access.
essentially, if you want to send something out, they have to censor it first or rubber stamp it.
Yeah, that's
No,
right.
we can actually send her, it's different now.
It's actually, as an agreement that came out again a few months ago, they actually don't, there is no approval process. We just send it out and it automatically goes to the students. It's just that we don't get the actual email addresses for confidentiality purposes.
So do we have access to that right now?
I'm sorry?
Is that?
It's
Yes.
something that we just need to work out the technicalities, but we have the approval for that.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to stop, that's a little significantly off topic, but it's a fair point. So are there any questions from the audience on this? Yes, Lindsay?
I guess with this and for academics and funding, a lot of your projects, you're going to start, but you're not going to be able to finish in a year. They're going to happen over 3 or 4 years. How do you plan on getting the next person in your position to continue with your legacy?
And so I'm gonna ask Claire to start with that.
Well, for one, I'm very big on mentorship in the other organizations that I work for. I've trained new people to take on the responsibilities and tasks that I've done, and they've actually done a very good job, carrying the torch. So whoever takes over this position next for me, and whatever projects I've started or have been started before me, I would definitely try to establish that line of communication and say, this is what I've been doing. Do you agree with this? Like, I would definitely, whoever was a candidate that year, I would definitely try to make it clear, like, this is where we are right now, what do you want to bring to the plate, and this is where we need to go.
Walter?
Very much in line of a continuity plan, pretty much the same, making sure everything is detailed. Because I do actually realize that most of these issues are not going to be solved in 1 year. The key thing is getting the groundwork actually established so that things can start moving forward later on with other people, whether it's me in a PhD position getting reelected, well, hopefully. But if it's not, then for someone else to actually be able to pick up and very, very quickly figure out exactly what has been done, what the next stages were planned, and how I had intended to go about those so that when they take it on, they either have a plan to immediately start running, or they can go, okay, well, maybe I want to change it this way, or the council is thinking of changing it this way. But the documentation is a key part. There's also the thing, well, what if I get hit by a bus? I don't want to leave you guys completely out in the open without any plan or any record of what I've done in the first place.
And Nikita?
I gotta agree with most kind of candidates. You gotta establish the groundwork, but I would like to take it one point further and say that in addition to establishing the groundworks, I think small advances are the key. And you gotta start the work and you gotta get somewhere. And as example from this year, this year as an academics commissioner, small examples, post-residency fees, obviously we don't have post-residency fees. But over this year we got, for international students, there are the reduced fees starting from year 7, which is definitely not really far from ideal, but it's there. We got a little achievement. Next year, let's do it year 6. Next year, let's do it for all the students. Accessibility to the GSU building. Same thing. We started talking to the architects. We actually got the plans for the work. We actually did something. Next year, we have it ready for the next step to do already. Same thing as Jason mentioned, most credit, actually dominant amount of credit goes to him for ancillary fees for IBBME. Got the fees removed this year. Next year, let's do it for another department. Next year, let's just do a global policy once and for all. So establish the groundwork and make small achievements. seal your achievements every year.
And Jeffrey?
I was looking at the GSU budget, and currently we only spend $4,000 per year on communication and outreach, which I think needs to be definitely increased by quite a bit if we're going to get our members to know what's happening. I think that getting our message out and getting campaigns to continue is all about stakeholder buy-in, and if we can get our message out to people that know about it, they're going to buy into our campaigns and our values and what we see that we want to do with the GSU. It's like at the Waterfront Toronto where they tried to go and throw out the entire plan. Waterfront Toronto had been working for the past 10 years with the neighborhoods and the residents, so when they went to throw out that plan, there was no possible way because they had the political blowback from that. So if we can talk to our members, get our message out, then we can get stakeholder buy-in to our campaigns and what we want to do, and hopefully it will just naturally flow and ebb, and our campaigns will continue organically, and that's my hope would be.
And Saber?
I mean, I gotta agree more with Nikita here. I think you gotta start small. I think a lot of this job can be done within 1 year. I'm really not sure what things you say that might take 2-3 years. I think you should start small, have goals that you can finish, and of course document. I think that in any executive, the next group that comes in should talk to the previous executive, see what's done, and they give them the advice. And same with you, once you're leaving, you're documenting and giving them the rest. But I think the job, and just to say to Jeff, I know you feel this grandiose idea of what this job entails, but I think you got to make sure you have the basics done before you can move up to the bigger challenges. So to answer directly that question, I think most things can be done within your time frame, and anything that's not done can be documented and passed on to the next year.
Okay, I'm going to give Jeff 30 seconds to respond to the idea of grandiose.
I actually do think this job is grandiose, and I think it's very important that we represent graduate students. I don't think it's a small responsibility, and I think it's important that we think big. For example, in British Columbia, they were able to achieve a U-Pass within a couple of years, where they had a $20 per month unlimited transit pass to go across the greater Vancouver area. Why aren't we thinking big? If we don't think big, no one's going to think big year to year, and we need to think big in order to get our campaigns off the ground and to achieve results.
Okay, so we've already asked one question. Does anyone else have a question? I did see Jason's hand first, but I'll go for you. So Jason first.
So I'd just like, if you guys could just outline who you think that your partners would be, like who your working partners would be, whether it be university or ministry or whatever. Who do you think you'd actually be working with? What are the various organizations that you're working with? Do you actually, I'm basically just saying, do you know who you're actually going to be dealing with and who the power players are in this field?
Okay, I'm going to let Saber.
I mean, I think it's the office of the president, I feel, like different unions. But mostly, I think internally, I would more focus on internally, the budget internally, rather than, as I said, I have a very, you've got a negative feeling about, I understand when Jason was up here saying that he's done a lot of lobbying and things like this, that things got done. I feel that if you try to branch out too much, focus too much on trying to get lobbies and things, not much things can get done as far as you think. I don't think this position has as much power as a lot of these candidates think it has. So I think I would focus more internally, and after that, focus on the external. Right.
Okay, I'm going to let Nikita respond next.
It's an extremely open question, I would say, and it really depends on the issue. And if the issue is internal, say, as the finance portfolio, that's definitely going to be the finance committee.
Sorry, can I just amend it so it's not the finance portfolio?
It's
the university governance portfolio.
Okay, as university governance portfolio, then it also depends. What is the issue? If it's academics issue, then it should be the appropriate body at the governing council, and it should be the appropriate body with the vice provost. If it's the development and the planning, then it should be the budget and budget and planning committee of the governing council. If it should be general U of T policy, then we might take it even higher in Simcoe Hall to the provost, or even if it's something, a policy that the U of T is definitely breaking, which is a provincial policy, then we might as well take it to the provincial ministry and deal with that. So it really depends, and every problem requires its own approach, as I learned, and at least at this point, there is an idea of where to approach what with different problems.
And Clare next.
Yeah, so yeah, there definitely needs to be that differentiation and distinction between who you address for different problems. So definitely for academic issues, as Nikita mentioned, you really need to approach the university administration, the office of the president, School of Graduate Studies, etc. Those should be primarily the go-to people for academic issues. And then in my mandate, in terms of lobbying, cooperation, coordination, for our bigger campaigns and activities and initiatives, there needs to be more of a focus on the provincial government because, frankly, university education is not in federal jurisdiction. It is a provincial jurisdiction. So you need to know that you need to be lobbying the Ministry of Universities, Colleges, and Training, not any other ministry. So, and that's just from my experience with these larger organizations, you really need to be very specific and narrow with who you target. And then also, in terms of the course unions, yes, we need to develop better relationships with our student associations. Some of them are very frustrated when they come to our meetings, and I really want to change that atmosphere because they need to be able to feel welcome, and we need to hear what they have to say because they're the ones that have the closest contacts with the students, more so than we do. So we really need to step up the listening in that regard.
Walter?
Okay, I could mimic everyone else on, depending on the issue, would depend on who we end up going to. But instead of just simply doing that, I will also go into some specifics, especially with the issue of the provincial government being brought up. With a plan that was put forward and leaked through the Toronto Star a few weeks ago, the 3 Cubed plan that would completely alter university and college as we now know it. Aside from simply going forward and pressuring U of T Governing Council, which, because they do view us as monetary units, likely will not be in support of this, try and enforce or get a clear-cut message from them that on this very message itself, they will stand against that plan should the government actually try and move forward with it. But also through the previous contacts I've had for the last 10 years lobbying and advocating on behalf of disabled veterans at different levels, I do already have contacts within most of the political parties that are able to get me to the right people when needed. So I've already got that set up, that as soon as we know what the issue is, we can figure out exactly what level, provincial or federal, and who, through my contacts, we can get involved with the right people. And that type of information, because I'm not a one-man show, I would share with the other people on the executive council so that if there's something that they're best suited to speak for, they can take my place. I will make those introductions and share that shadow network that I already have.
Jeff?
I actually think that we need a broad, comprehensive lobbying strategy that looks at all levels of government. Because as we know, the federal government gives transfer payments to the province, which funds education. So it's not, things don't operate just in a silo. And for example, the TTC at City Hall are the ones that originally got students a discounted Metro Pass. I worked at City Hall for a councillor when that happened. So I know how City Hall lobbying works. I know how to get meetings with councillors. I don't know how many meetings my opponent has done during his term with politicians, but I will definitely be making meetings and making calls and sending out letters to politicians at all levels of government. And I think that's what you need to do in order to achieve results. The other thing that I disagree with my colleague here is that he said that the administrations are going to be our future colleagues.